Make sure y'all tune in, second screen viewing experience, next Thursday night when the Browns are officially on the clock. And we're going to start today's show with some of Andrew Berry's comments regarding the Browns' number 2 pick after a reminder that the NBA playoffs are almost here, guys. We will find out who the Cavs play in the first round on Friday night. And if you want to bet on the Cavs' first-round playoff series, there's no better sportsbook to use than FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. When you join FanDuel and you place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Don't miss out. Head over to FanDuel.com/UCSS and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. This morning, Andrew Berry gave about a 25-minute press conference ahead of the Browns' number 2 overall pick in next week's draft. And we're going to touch on a couple of different things he said, but the one to me that stood out,
before you get to those things,
okay.
let me throw a quick note here.
Shoot.
Andrew Berry sounds like Mr. Milchick from Severance. If you watch Severance, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, he's Mr. Milchick. Anyway.
Educated guy.
It's not that he's educated. It's that it's like he purposely uses big words when it's not necessary.
No,
I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
But they all talk like that now. That's not just
Yes, a lot of the GMs do, but not in football.
Have you ever heard the Guardians front office people
in
talk?
baseball, yes. But
basketball, same thing.
None of those beat reporters know what nebulous means. Everybody's tweeting out nebulous. I don't know what the hell nebulous means. Nobody knows what nebulous means. Come on, Andrew Berry, talk like a normal person.
That's why he said it, to drive you crazy.
You think Scott Petrak and Darryl Ryder know what nebulous means?
Forget it. Just go. Let's continue. This is
Move on, Mike.
He's hangry. He needs a Snicker.
Like you said, Bull's hot. He's going to rant about the Travis Hunter questions that were asked in a second. But the first thing I want to mention, this was a comment from Andrew Berry. Cameron Wolf transcribed it for us. But he was asked basically, Steve, take this full whenever you would be so kind to. He was asked if it's still true they view Travis Hunter as a receiver first, and he confirmed that they do look at Travis Hunter more as an offensive player, but they also see him as a valuable defensive player. He compared it to Shohei Ohtani, quote, "It's a bit like Ohtani. Pitcher or hitter, he's an outstanding player. You get a unicorn if you can use him both ways." Bull, we have talked about at length your desire to use him both offensively and defensively, and how you believe it would be, frankly, stupid for a team to draft Travis Hunter and not at least allow him to attempt playing both sides of the football. It does appear that's how the Browns view him, and he was the guy that Andrew Berry talked the most about today.
So all these old guys who are flapping their gums again, they're the same old guys that thought Lamar Jackson should have been a wide receiver. They're all at it again. I put on NFL radio, which by and large, it's interesting, is it's an insult to trash to call NFL radio trash, but that's the best word I can come up with.
A lot of those shows on Sirius are horrendous.
Oh, my God.
The vast majority.
They're so bad.
Awful.
They're
awful.
so bad. It's hard to believe they can't
They
do
just
better.
have to fill time, so they just give anybody a job.
It's terrible. They have the show in the afternoon. Pat Kerwin.
I just so happen to have a little bit of availability, so if they want to
hire Tyvis, Tyvis is 1,000 times better than anybody on there. I'm not exaggerating.
I remember when Charlie Weiss was on there. He was horrendous.
God. Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
If you played in the NFL or you worked in an NFL front office, they'll hire you. And it
it's
doesn't matter.
terrible.
You don't know what you're doing. Or
there's an afternoon show, two old guys, Pat Hayden, who's was it Pat Hayden? And Jim Miller. He was like he was quarterback for the Steelers briefly, right?
It's an insult to trash.
These guys, they talk as if they're not paying attention to anything else. That all they do is talk to the other old guys in football, and they haven't talked to anybody below the age of 60 in 20 years. I think that they're like, he's definitely a defensive player. You can't play him both ways. He might miss some meetings. Shut up. We have to get with, everybody is stuck in their old ways in so many walks of life. You have to be open-minded to change. You have a special talent. Somebody that could do something that nobody else can do, or at the very least, nobody else has been given a chance to do. Why on earth would you not try it?
Of course.
You better.
It's insane to suggest that he shouldn't play both. If somewhere down the line they feel it's too much of a negative for him to do both, then maybe you switch course. But why would you not try it? I heard the same thing. Andy Baskin's a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. But Andy Baskin, I listened to the beginning of his radio show today, is going on and on about, well, you can't have him play both because if he's not perfect and makes one mistake, then people are going to be clamoring for him to only play one way, and that would be a bad thing. Andy, I love you, buddy. I know you're probably not going to watch. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard. That makes no sense. I don't care how fans react. I don't care how media reacts. Tony Grossi, that guy hasn't. I honestly believe that Tony Grossi has not watched a football game since the 80s. I know he goes to the games. I don't think he actually watches. He talks. His questions are so stupid in all these press conferences. He asks, and I don't care. I don't care if I'm. I really don't care. I'm keeping it real. You may think I'm stupid or fat or ugly, and I don't give a shit what you think. It's fine. He is clueless. Some of the questions are so horrible. And
I think he has some good questions.
Oh, actually. My God.
He does.
He does. Jason, he has not watched football in 40 years. You know it. Stop it. Don't tell me stop it. He still thinks you win with 3 yards in a cloud of dust. He still talks about the word analytics as if that's some boogeyman.
I'm just saying he has some good questions.
I'm not saying he's never asked a good question, but he's a putz. Don't bother him. It is what it is. Yes, I have a personal vendetta against him, but that's all right. You know, these things happen. He cost me a job at one point. Doesn't matter. No, he didn't. I'm kidding. Anyway, we have to stop talking about these players and fit them into the things we're comfortable with. Times have changed. Things have changed. This guy is an absolute freak, and any coach or GM that would draft him and not at least attempt to play him both ways to some percentage is an idiot and should lose their job.
You weren't here last week. Me and Ty, I think it was Mike. Mike was on panel, right?
I was out there. We did the breakdown with Tyvis.
You got to go back and watch it if you didn't see it. Tyvis did a breakdown on Travis. It was phenomenal.
I haven't seen
Thank you.
And the one thing that I think was really important in all that was, because I do think, like, during the week, preparation obviously is huge.
Of course.
Meetings
absolutely.
is huge. He can't be in 2 places at once.
That's correct.
So I thought you gave a really, because I asked Tyvis, what's more important, to be on the offensive side or the defensive side? He said 100% the offensive side. He's got to be in all the offensive meetings. Mm-hmm. Defense, you can figure it out on the fly.
Well, on defense, this is the best part about playing defense, him playing corner specifically.
Yeah.
All you got to do is turn around and say, hey, that safety that's on your side,
Yeah.
he has to tell you what you got.
That's it.
That's it. But obviously, that's been a huge thing with the Cleveland Browns is the secondary to communication, which
Nobody
I
talks.
still to this day can't seem to figure out. But I do know Jim Schwartz runs a lot of man-to-man. So at worst case scenario, he'll come in and he knows he's playing man-to-man.
You make special arrangements for special players.
It's
that simple.
Whoever's on his side, hey, you know, Del Pitt, you're going to be on the same side as Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Tell him what he got.
That's it.
You're either playing man, cover 2, cover 3, or cover 4. That's it. That's all it can possibly, or you blitz it. That's it. That is all it can possibly be. Figure out what it is, play it.
And isn't Travis Hunter likely, let's say he's with the offense all the time, you know, meetings, that doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. He's in the mix a little bit on defense when he can, plays on defense, whatever percentage they end up doing. I don't know, 50%.
He'll have to stay after practice and work on some technique and stuff like that.
You don't think that guy's going to do that? Of course he's going to do that.
He said he's dedicated. All he cares about is playing football.
And with his talent, let's say on offense he's phenomenal. He's a 10 out of 10, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say he ends up being an 8 on defense because he can't pay attention to it enough, and he would have been maybe a 10. You know what? That's okay.
That's 18.
I'll take an 18 rather than just a 10.
So to clarify people on why I think it's more important for him to be in the offense than defense, it's because defensively, all right, so me playing defense, this is how I learned. When I was a rookie in Seattle, right, I locked into every meeting. Like, I had to sit there with a pen and pad out, and I tried to listen to everything that every coach stood up and said. And as you know, person that sat next to me was Richard Sherman. And he would sit there and he'd be on his phone just like this the whole time. While I'm sitting there, he's sitting there like this and stuff on his phone. And I looked at Sherman and I said, why you not going to pay attention? He said, Tyvis, listen, I've been running this defense for, at this time, it's been like 6 years. I've been in this defense for 6 years. What he's telling you is the same thing they've been saying. They're going to sit up there every week and say the exact same thing. Why? Because that's the only way to beat this defense. So every time we play a team, they're going to run the same coverage beaters. They're going to run cover 3 beaters and cover 1 beaters. I know them all. So Travis Hunter, once he learns what the beaters are, that's how they're going to attack the Cleveland Browns. Okay, if you play for Cincinnati, they run a different scheme, so a different offense is going to run something different. But when they play you, they're going to run cover 1 and cover 3 beaters because that's what you're predominantly in. So as a DB, if I know the concepts that they're going to run, you kind of can guess what's about to happen. So you don't necessarily need to be in defensive meetings unless they're changing – I don't know, like a stun or something, but that has nothing to do with you anyway. So that's why, to me, it's more important for him to be in the offensive side of the ball because, like I said, the defense change week to week. You got to know if you're going to be the hot man. If this guy's blitzing, I need my route changes on that. The quarterback's going to look at me to go hot and things like that. You got to know those things. So it's more important for him to be on the offensive side than the defense.
So the fact this is year 3 of Schwartz's system, does that? I mean, he's a rookie, so he's got to learn it all. Regardless.
Yeah, he got to learn. Yeah.
But I just wonder, is there an advantage that it's not a whole new system for everybody? Does that help him or no?
Right.
Because he's a rookie.
So the veteran players on the Browns defense can help Hunter.
Yes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Usually
it's not everybody,
and that's what would have to happen.
It's not everybody trying to learn a new system.
It would be like this. If me and him, if I was playing safety on his side and they came out in let's say they came out in a 2-by-2 formation and I studied it all week. And they're in gun far. Gun far, for people who don't know, is when the running back is opposite of the tight end. So they're in gun far. And in the preparation and all the coaches have said in gun far, they like to run these 2 concepts out of gun far. If I'm on the side with Travis Hunter and he's playing corner, I'm going to tell him, I'm going to say, hey, we in blah, blah. We in cover 1, cover 3, whatever we in. And then I'm going to say, hey, and look for this smash concept. 80% of the time they like to run smash. That's all. I just put it in his mind. Put it in his mind.
Let's say he plays, I don't know what percentage. Let's say he plays most of the time on offense, and then he plays, let's say, 33% of the plays on defense. I don't know. We'll just throw that as an example. So he's coming in. Let's say they bring him in on obvious passing downs, right? 3rd downs, 4th downs, maybe a 2nd and 15, whatever it is. When he comes in, what corner position is he playing? Do you think? How are they going to do that?
I think it just depends on I think at this point it depends on the Martin Emerson thing. Because if Martin Emerson is going to be your guy, which I'm assuming he will, and you want him on the field, then that means you be taking G. New off the field and he be playing nickel, which I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I'd rather him play outside because in the slide, it's a lot that goes on in the slide as far as the run game and all of those things.
He did not play much in the slot at all.
Okay, my point exactly. Play on the outside. That's what I'm saying. So if I was bringing him in, he would play outside.
So let me just throw this at you. If you're going to draft Travis Hunter, in a way, would it make more sense to keep Greg Newsome and trade Martin Emerson?
Yeah, but I don't think Martin's value is high right now.
It's not, and you can't recount.
And I wouldn't trade. No, I wouldn't trade Martin.
You'd want to have them all.
Yeah, because for depth reasons.
But you can't.
Denzel is probably gonna miss 2 games this season.
Travis ain't gonna play every snap on defense.
Yeah, sure.
You need
fair point.
You need competent quarterback play out there. Right. And I don't know. I mean, Newsome's contract. I don't think he's got any trade value because of that contract.
No, he doesn't have anything.
All right, next thing that Andrew Berry said. He talked a lot about Travis Hunter. We kind of discussed a bunch. But another thing that he said was the Titans are presumably going to take Cam Ward. And then Andrew Berry was asked, do you guys know who you're going to take if that's the answer? And he said, well, we're going to use the whole shot clock. Mary Kay put this out there. All options are still on the table when asked whether or not the Browns would still be interested in Shedeur Sanders, at number 2, and he went on to then say they're not going to force something at quarterback if they don't think the value is necessarily there.
That's the same thing Jimmy said a month ago.
Well, I'm going to ask this in a 2-part question. We can move through this pretty quickly because I think we're all going to be in unison here. Do you think they're still considering a quarterback at 2? And is the second part of that quote, because it almost parrots what Jimmy Haslam said a few weeks ago at the owners' meeting, does it give you any insight into how they view this quarterback class, specifically towards the top of the draft?
Yes. I think Travis Hunter is the number 2 pick. I think that they'll take a quarter. I think what they've done is they've done their research and they've said to themselves that all of these guys are about the same. And I think that now they're saying, okay, if 2 through 5 is the same or roughly close, what stands out about this guy, that guy? What is more valuable to us? Is it the decision-making from Shedeur? Is it the athleticism from Jalen Milroe? Is it the arm from Jackson Dark? Is it the arm talent of Tyler Shuck? Like, which one to us do we think will be more? We can develop and make them something that could be dangerous. And I think when you look at this and how things are shaking now, you thinking that maybe they're. I keep telling people when I look at what the Browns are doing, when you hear how they talking, I think they're looking at Philadelphia as the standard, like how that organization is the standard. And I think that they're thinking to themselves, how can we get to that? What do we need to do to get to that? Yeah. And obviously you think about Travis Hunter as a wide receiver. They keep talking about as a wide receiver. What does the Eagles have? 2 really good wide receivers. Then you think about the quarterback. Well, this wasn't the first-round talent that they took. Well, maybe he is now, but at the time he was a second-round pick. They didn't go use a first-round pick to have to get their quarterback, and he was a guy that everybody had question marks about. I think G. Bush pointed out, who did he say? Todd McShay said that this guy would never be good in the NFL.
That was Hurts.
Yeah, Hurts.
Yeah.
And when you think about a guy like Jalen Milroe, I mean, he fits the same thing. You know, a lot of people say he's got good legs and he throws a good deep ball, but he got so many other concerns. I don't know if he'll ever be that guy.
I think there probably are more questions about Milroe than Hurts, but you're right.
Yeah, but
there were questions about Hurts, no doubt.
So I think that they're literally trying to take that same approach and try to use their coaching to develop these guys and just get the right talent in there. I hope that this coaching staff can develop these guys into those players that are from Philly.
Guys, I think the very interesting thing is clearly it seems, and it'll be confirmed if the Browns don't take a quarterback at 2, which obviously we all think they're not going to. Clearly they think that group 2 to 5 is all pretty close. The question is, do they think all 4 of those guys are basically the same? Is it only 2 of them? Is it 3? Because let's say in theory they think Shador, Dart, Shuck, and Milroe are all same level quarterback, they'd be okay with any of them. It's probably not the case, but let's say it is. Mm-hmm. Well, then you just stay at 33 because you know for sure at least 1 or 2 of them is going to be there.
Yeah.
Well, if you think it's only 1 or 2 of those guys, especially somebody besides Shador, then you might think about trading them. He did say that he didn't think having to get into the first round for the 5th-year option was important.
That was actually one of the most interesting things I thought that he said, because we spent a lot of time talking about the 5th-year option and moving up to get it.
I didn't think it was that important either. You guys have said it.
Because of the position, I think it is. Because of the position you're trying to get at quarterback.
No, but my thought always has been, yes, it's ideal to have it if you could.
If it's a left tackle, I don't care.
Right, but the only reason I said it is after the 4th, you got to make the decision after the 3rd year. So after the 3rd year, you probably know if the guy's your future quarterback or not. Probably not.
They didn't know with Baker.
I was about to say.
They didn't. You're right. I think in a lot of cases you do at that point.
Probably.
And if you do, then you're going to try to sign him anyway.
But it's a weird league, though. Like, injuries happen.
Of course,
you never
know.
First year, like it's.
I'm just saying, yes, the 5th-year option, I'm sure they'd rather have it than not. But I don't think I don't think they feel like you have to have it.
It just depends on, to me, I think that we're at the point where I don't think that they view any of these guys as franchise quarterbacks. I don't think.
Or at least not sure things.
Not right now. Yeah, right now they don't.
Yeah.
So in that case, we talked about, well, if you really like a guy at quarterback, you should trade up. So what does that trade up look like from 33 to 20? Or 28.
It depends. It's a big difference going to 28 versus going to 20.
So if it's me giving up picks from next year's draft for a guy that I'm not even 100% sure is going to be a franchise quarterback, in that case, no, I just take the guy at 33.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about to give up all these assets. I think the Browns got 4 picks in the first 102.
Right.
So I'm not trying to give up any of that assets either.
But I think the Browns are thinking, and they're telling you this to some degree by bringing Joe Flacco. They don't want to be a top 5 pick next year.
Yeah.
And if they're not a top 5 pick, then
it's my bold prediction.
It's going to be hard to get. Andrew Berry did admit, not that this is a surprise, that they always consider that next year's quarterback class is definitely a part of the equation.
Of course.
He said that in this.
Well, he said they scout 2 years in advance.
2 years at a time.
Yeah. 2 years at a time, right?
And
which makes sense.
And things can because I've been big on the 26 class all along.
Sure.
And of course, things can change. Yes, guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to overperform. Guys are going to underperform. Guys are going to rise and fall. And the new frontier in all this is NIL. And I still think we're figuring out how much money how much money does it take for a quarterback to stay in college longer than he would otherwise?
Right.
Because you used to be able to circle guys and say, okay, they're coming out here.
Right.
This guy's. You can't do that anymore.
No.
Because now they're making real money in college.
That's going to correct itself.
But we don't have enough data yet. I don't know. Because some guys may say, I could still make more in the NFL. I want to go to the NFL.
Right.
And other guys may say, I'm having a ball in college.
Right.
The money will be there. And it's a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough time yet in this system.
You will, because I think that it's going to be a such thing as donor fatigue.
Right, but it's not going to change in the next year.
Guys aren't going to live up to that $4 million that you promised. So I'm not. Why? If I gave you $4 million and you didn't give me anything, and you come to me next time, we got another quarterback. We need $4 million. You think I'm going to give it to you?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But another factor in what you're saying, Jason, also is a guy who is like, should he come out? Should he not? You know, whether it's questionable how high he's going to get drafted. That guy is way more likely to stay in if he's making NIL money.
Yes.
You know, than a guy who's definitely going in the first round.
Right.
And those guys it used to be, you just, as you said, as soon as you could go, you go. Unless you're going to be not drafted or a really late pick.
No. It's if you have a really good season, you go.
Right.
You go when you hot. Anytime you hot, you got to go.
Yeah.
Because duplicating it is so hard.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
You want the last quote from Andrew Berry real quick before we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did talk about Jalen Milroe. And when he talked about Jalen Milroe, I thought his word choice was very interesting. Quote, a rare physical talent, maybe the only quarterback who's faster than Lamar Jackson. He went on to say, please don't tell Lamar Jackson I said that. We've talked about at length the physical attributes that Jalen Milroe has and how he is just different than any other quarterback in the NFL athletically other than Lamar. To hear Andrew Berry put praise like that on Jalen Milroe, Tyvis, that just at least continue to open your eyes to the possibility he might be the guy they are targeting in the second round or with their second pick whenever that choice is made?
Yeah, I think it's – but see, the thing is it's silly season as well. Like, it could also be them making it sound like that to make somebody else take Jalen Milroe, so maybe they can get a Jackson Dart. Maybe
they don't want people to know.
Like, they're not going to tell you outright who they're taking because then somebody Pittsburgh might take them just because you think so highly of, well, let's bring them to Pittsburgh and you got to go against them.
I don't think Pittsburgh's making any decisions based on what the Browns think.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying. You get the point. Yeah. Maybe not Pittsburgh. That's a bad example.
But there's no benefit to spilling the beans on what you want to do.
The point is they're not going to tell people who they're taking, what quarterback they want to take, because if they do, then somebody obviously might slide up. A team might say, oh, if the Browns is taking them at 33, well, now I got to trade up to 32 to get them or something like that. So I think he's just giving them high praise. They're not, like I said, I don't know who they're going to take at quarterback. I think it will be somebody at 33, though, unless they trade back up.
Go ahead, Jason.
I do think the interest in Milroe is real. I left the owners' meetings thinking, one, they were taking Travis Hunter at 2. They were very interested in Milroe. And Jackson Dart's probably going to go a lot higher than we had thought, maybe even above Shador. So, and honestly, like as we sit here today, I think if they leave this draft with Travis Hunter and Jalen Milroe, I'd be very happy with that.
It'd be fun.
With the top 2
He's
picks.
fun, man.
Because, like, the one thing that those two guys have in common, from everything that we know about them, from Travis Hunter and Jalen Milroe, they're unbelievably intelligent dudes who work their asses off. Mm-hmm. I will take that every single time. They are high character dudes, and you can win with guys like that.
Yep.
And is he perfect? No, he's not perfect. If he was, he'd be a top 10 pick. He'd be the number 1 pick. Yeah, there's things he's got to work on. But you bet on the guy. And that's when whoever takes Jalen Milroe is betting on the character of the dude that he's going to put the work in and he's going to get better. And you know what? If it doesn't work, then you can go get the quarterback in 26. Maybe – I've been on the bandwagon all along. The quarterback is not in this draft. You're going to have to wait till 26. But maybe he puts in the work and shows you something by the end of the year that makes you think otherwise. And if he doesn't, then you're in position in 26 to go get somebody, even if it's not the number 1.
Although I think if you draft Milroe, I don't know, besides using him as a gadget player,
he's going to play. Not right away. He's going to play.
But
that's the Browns. They play 3 quarterbacks every year.
But the thing about him, though, is whether
that was mean, Jason.
It's true.
I think he has value because of the running ability.
100%.
So I think that out of the Shador, the Shuck, Dart, and him, Like, the running ability alone, even if he doesn't pan out to be your franchise guy, he's a guy that's still going to be on the roster.
Absolutely.
He's still a guy. He could turn into a Taysom Hill, worst case, something like that.
That's true.
Like, so.
Gadget play,
Short
yardage.
It's like, to me, you're doing it for the talent. It's the same thing with Travis Hunter. Like, it's so many different things that Travis Hunter can do before he considered a bust and he just can't play. Like, you can play corner, you can play special teams, returner, offense, before you just like, all right, he's no good.
Hey,
same thing with Jalen Milroe.
Kevin Stefanski will have no excuses. If you have, think about the creativity that you can do with Travis Hunter and Jalen Milroe in that offense. And I know they'll both be rookies next year. I'm, thinking more long term. And I agree with Andrew Berry. Everybody's so obsessed with, can this guy be good right away? And he talked about, I want the guys that are going to be the best players, not the best players right away. Yeah. And he's right about that. But the potential explosiveness of an offense with Jalen Milroe and Travis Hunter could be something unheard of. Like this Browns offense, which has been so crap for so long, outside of the few weeks with Joe Flacco there, where they were throwing the ball all over the place, could just go. For how many years, Jason, have we talked about the fact that the Browns are not a good athletic team on offense? Yeah. They just don't have the big time, pass catchers, the speed guys, and then to have two guys like that on an offense.
How many times last year did I say they had? I have all the metrics to prove this. They had some of the slowest receivers in the league last year, and they were terrible at creating separation. Yeah. You know how you fix that? Travis Hunter helped fix that.
Yeah.
It would be fun to see if Jalen Milroe figures it out. Him, Judy, Njoku, Hunter.
You get one of these big-time backs in the third round.
Well, you got to start with Ford right now.
Right, but supposedly his running back class is fantastic.
True. They're going to take a running back.
I've said this for the couple of weeks. The top 3 picks should all be on the offensive.
100%.
Or 3 of the top 4
yes.
should be on the offensive side of the ball. It's been neglected for too long.
Hunter, quarterback, running back, either 3rd or 4th round. Let's go.
Next week, we're going to do a deep dive into the Browns' top 3 round position players they've drafted in the first 3 rounds over the last decade plus. It's shocking how few players they've even drafted at those positions.
D-line.
And even shockinger, or more shocking,
shockinger
have hit. All right, guys, we're going to move
By
on. By
the way, Mike, before you move on, it may be shocking to you, but to every Browns fan, it's not shocking.
Fair enough.
It's sad more than shocking.